We thought we had a few things to address through the pre-season, but we thought with a healthy list, if we could get the list on the field and play, we thought we could have some success early. And I suppose with the expectations, we had that weight of expectations on us, so we knew that we had to really address it really quickly. We weren't that fussed about the pre-season form. There's just a couple of areas of the game that we thought we need to improve fairly quickly, and we did. I don't think so. I think the group know that it's round 3, and by the end of the year there could be 4 flag favourites, or 5 or 6 or 7, just depending how the season goes. So we know that 3 games, have gone. We've had victories, which is great, against, especially against last year's grand finalists, which was a great result for our club. But at the end of the day, there's so much footy to be played, and there's a lot that needs to go under, a lot of water to go under the bridge. So it could change fairly quickly. The health of your list is so important, and we're really hell-bent on making sure that we keep our list as healthy as we can. I suppose this is the progression for this group, to take, I suppose, the next step of expectations and the weight of that as well, and not letting it affect you. I think early doors, say 5 and 4 years ago, we're probably carrying the I suppose favourite tag going into games. We probably didn't handle that well, and I think we've overcome those sort of expectations in the last couple of years. And this is something that, who knows, it's people outside of our football club that are calling this. It's not us. We know every week we have to be spot on with our performance, otherwise we'll give up that 4 points, and they're also vital. So we haven't changed too much. I think the group has matured, but really led from the leadership group. I think the group is mature enough to handle it, not just the leadership group, but when you consider that your leadership group's not just made up of the 6 or 7, it's, Scotland's not in the leadership group, and there's other players that Matthew Cruz is not, but their performance on the field is so critical, and they can control on how we play as well. He got the laser surgery over the pre-season, so I think that's helped a fair bit. Seeing the ball and knowing where it lands now and being there, that always helps, especially in night games. So, he had a few issues with that, and I think about confidence as well. I think we ask players to just flick the switch on and be ready to play after 20 games, but I think it takes more between 40 and sort of 70 games before they become players, and especially big men, they just take a bit longer, and I think he's starting to have a lot more belief in his own performance and what he can do. He's had moments, you could say, through seasons and in games. Last year I thought he was in really good form, and then he got injured, which really stops that, I suppose, continuity of performance and making it consistent. He couldn't get that, and it just made it tough for him. But I think he's really come of age. It's only early though. There's a lot of footy to be played, and he's taken a big step in the right direction. We haven't had that debate. It will be one that will come up. But maybe with rotating players and keeping players fresh, it might be a time to give one of those boys a spell and rotate those fellas, and Matthew might spend a bit more time forward. If Robbie came into the team, there are things that we could look at to make sure we keep the balance and we still maintain, our aim is to get that 4 points. Well, we'll be picking the best team, and at the end of the day, we're trying to have success, and we'll do that. And if players put their hand up and, I suppose, force their hand for us to play them, we need to play them, and if they don't, we won't play them. And it's about, some players get put out of teams or are ousted because of the old cliche for coaches, team balance, but sometimes it is about balance of the team and what we need to get the job done. And we'll just pick the best team, and if that means Robbie's in or Matthew's in or Sean's in, they'll be in. But if it means they have a week off or we don't pick them, well, so be it. We can't change that. We're in the 4 points business, and we want success, and we'll keep chasing that. Well, they get 30 plus shots a game. They're going inside 50 around 60 times. They mark the ball inside 50 on 15 occasions to be in the top 4. I think they're going a bit better than they're letting on. Maybe a few, as Robbo would know, a few smoke screens going there with that team and trying to just cover up. But, offensively, they're playing some very, very good football, and Jeddah and these boys, Kamiri's in red-hot form down there, and I think his scoring involvements and what he's doing for the team. Jeddah's the one that has probably got under everyone's guard a bit. Fletcher's the biggest intercepting player in the competition with opposition kicks, so they've got a lot of things going right. Watson's, his clearance and his domination around there is pretty critical as well. I think their scoring against from stoppages has been a real big improvement for them in the first 3 rounds. They're not getting scored against, and they're doing that. So I think from a defensive point of view, they've cleaned up a few areas as well. So, they're in a lot better form than they're letting on, and maybe they're getting credit for. I think the Hampson Ryder match-up will be a beauty. I think they'll play against each other at times, and Matthew's in really good form, and to watch both boys how they follow up and they play the game is they're not just ruckmen, they're followers as well that get involved in midfield play. So it should be a great battle, and Paddy, when he's played first ruck, has really put his imprint on the game. I think he won a Anzac medal a few years ago from the Collingwood game, where he just dominated the ruck and things like that. So it should be a great battle. Yeah, I think it's like any team that has a great win or a good win in a season is. It's not really controlling the people that have had the lead up to the game, the build up of coaches, players, support staff, everyone around. I think they get excited and well done, got the job done. It's usually the external people around that can carry you and make the bubble sort of go over the top a little bit, and here we are, or whatever, or things that are comments that are, you just think, I'm not sure about that, and you put them back into place really quickly. But there wasn't a lot of those comments. It was the group was pretty adamant. Yep, we came here to get the job done. We did. Well done. Let's move on. And there was some real focus in the group about, we've got Essendon next week back at this ground. Let's make sure we keep a lid on it and just make sure that we focus on what we have to do, because the group know we've been burnt by 3 finals by less than a kick. We've lost 3 finals in the last 3 years by 15 points collectively. There's small margins. That's inch by inch. That's not taking for granted, just because you have a win or a situation, knowing that there's a lot of football to be played and we need to improve as a football team, not just offensively, but defensively even more. And I think the group are really, I suppose, hell-bent on making sure that not just their own self behaviours or their actions, it's about others around them. And I think most of the players are keeping everyone in check in regards to where we're heading and what we're trying to do. He's going well. He's putting up a big case, and I'm trying to keep him out of my office so I can have some time to watch games and that, because he's knocking on every 5 minutes and I'm ready to go and all that. We'll probably go through that process a little bit further, see how he pulled up today. He did everything that was required. The big one will be, will we risk him? Is he fully over everything? We'll sit down with the docs and high performance manager and go through that. Oh, he's going brilliant. I spoke to Brocky and watched that game at Kramer Street on the weekend. He had 38. He was the best player on the ground by a mile, and they had the likes of Didak and Johnson and a few others. He was the best for both teams by a long way. 38, kicked the ball really well. All his possessions were neat, tackled. But I just, at the moment, I said it's tough. You've got to just keep going. And whether he gets that opportunity this week, which he might, a lot of coaches were there and seen the game, it's going to be tough for those players around the edges when some players are in the same spot and playing some really good football. But the opportunity will come. He's running the best he has, GPS, the whole lot. He's going well. He can't do much more. Yep. No, that didn't surprise me at all. If you go back and have a look at the tape, you could have a look at the... I think when he first came back v Sydney at Etihad last year, his ruck work then was phenomenal as well. He gave our midfielders first use of the ball, and we know that he can do that on any given day. I thought his ruck work or his hit, tap work was a bit off the week before, so it was good for him to respond and bounce back the way he did. But he did give our midfielders first access to the ball, and he was probably the dominant big man on the ground. It's just Andrew's in a real good spot with doing a role and actually finding the footy as well. We know he can find the ball. He can rack up 40s he has in games, but to sort of keep your opposition at about half the numbers that he's getting and have a big influence on the game, he's in nearly career best form at the moment. I think everyone. And being a part of it for 4 to 5 years, I think when you've got young teams, you actually have to be patient. And sometimes you have talent there, but some of the things that they need to do and mature as people, as we said before, some players take 40 games or 70 games to get going. And we thought we had some talent there. It's a shame Matthew did his ACL because it would have been great to see him just continue the way he was travelling. But yeah, we thought we had some talent here. We just had to, I suppose, bide some time, and I suppose we've had a bit of luck in regards to changing Yaron's role and putting him back, and Henderson in the same breath there to change his position from a forward to a back, and the impact that he's having on games as well. When you bring an Irishman into your club and he's probably rated in the top 10 kicks of your club, we haven't done a lot with him to we've worked really hard with him about his game knowledge and that, but to pick that skill up and do it as effectively as he's done, we didn't do a lot there. Always targeted sort of Laidler over the 3 years before we got Jeremy, and Dygan we've been fairly blessed with as well. So you need a little bit of luck along the way as well, and now we're starting to get the group, I suppose, bonding together and playing together. I think it's about, if you do have talent, that's great, but getting them to work together is the big key, because if we're all off on our own mission or our own agenda, it just doesn't work. And getting the boys to gel on that's the most pleasing thing. When they're doing something together and someone covers for someone, the bloke that kicks the goals knows that bloke has done the team act, and that's put up in meetings and things like that. It's not about the bloke that wins the ball all the time. It's about the role that you play to make your teammate one of the best players he can be on the game or in that situation.